Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first edition of the Man Cave Talk Show with the dynamic duo. Some people might call us Kobe and Shaq, but you know what? I'm the one and only HollywoodBonner.
And I am the infamous Blakk Ceezar.
Welcome to the cave. On this first episode, this is a good one, y'all. This topic that we about to discuss is police brutality. And I'm quite sure that everybody have a sense of police brutality from experience, hands-on experience, or from just book knowledge of police brutality. But if you have not heard of it, or if you just don't really know what is police brutality, I'm gonna go ahead and read you the definition of police brutality. It say the unwarranted or excessive and often illegal use of force against civilians by U.S. police officers. Forms of police brutality have ranged from assault and battery, example beating, to mayhem, torture, and murder, harassment, intimidation, and verbal abuse, among other forms of mistreatment. So since you know what the definitions say, and we all on one page now, Blakk Ceezar, go ahead and tell me your thoughts on police brutality.
Hollywood, what's up with you? So
What's
look,
up?
I honestly feel that police brutality is just another form of systematic racism. I feel that this can be knowing and unknowing. Depends on the police officer. Depends on the climate in which a police officer works. Because, like I said, not all police officers are knowing that they're causing police brutality. Because we all feel that police brutality literally ends in death. And that's not the case. It never was the case. So I feel that it's just another form of systematic racism. You know, you put the wrong cop in the wrong neighborhood, you get the wrong outcome. Which ends, that's how I feel about it.
Dang, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. My
thoughts on police brutality is this. This been going on for generations after generations after generations. My grandparents went through it. My mom and dad went through it. Yep. We have went through it. Well, we currently are going through it, and our kids will go through it in some form or fashion. And I feel like police use the title "I am an officer" to their advantage.
Of course.
Meaning they are thinking I am above the law. When they start thinking I am above the law, they feel like I am Mr. Untouchable. Meaning they could walk up to you and slam you on their police car for what? No reason. They could go ahead and grab you, slam you on the ground. They could put you in headlocks. They could also put their knee on your neck for 8 minutes after you literally screaming, "I can't breathe."
Yep.
But hey, that's just a few things that we have noticed that have been going on these past decades after decades after decades. And when an officer does a crime, in reality, those are crimes. Yeah. When an officer does a crime and use police brutality against an individual, they normally get a slap on the wrist. Sometimes, surprisingly, sometimes they be a hero in some people's eyes. Sometimes the officer get a paid vacation.
Vacation.
Sometimes an officer get a leave of absence or an unpaid absent or suspended.
They keep their job.
And keep their job. Or sometimes an officer lose his job but get rehired at a different police department.
Ooh, that's true.
But
that is true.
But hey, that's what we get. I mean, that's the new norm. Police brutality is something that we all suffer from. Something that if you haven't suffered from it, it's a good chance that you might suffer from it.
It's
and that brings me to it's a high chance. And that brings me to my next point. So, Blakk Ceezar,
yeah,
do you feel that African Americans are affected more by police brutality?
Yes, of course. Given your definition, it's not just outright killing someone. It's intimidation. It is using excessive force. It's a wide range of things. So my honest opinion is it don't matter where a black person is, right? When you compare a black person to a white person, right? A black person can be, if a black person, let's just say in the hood, right?
Right.
A black person will go through police brutality just by walking in the street. You are already in a neighborhood which there is high violence, there's high crimes in this area, which causes certain police officers to question you, right. which leads to sometimes unlawful arrest or intimidation. But we all know that. I've lived in the hood, so I know that to be true. But I'm gonna flip it. Let's just say you are in a good neighborhood, a white neighborhood. A black man still have problem out there. If a black man owned a house, let's say $300,000, everybody in that neighborhood makes $400,000 up per year. Let's just say a black man in that neighborhood, he's gonna get questioned 10 times more by the police officer than a white person would. He's gonna get asked questions, and he's gonna have to prove himself or prove that he belonged there. Because if he can't, he's going to jail for nothing. So yes, we are affected most definitely. And you know what? To show that I'm not in my feelings, here's facts. Here's facts.
Talk to him.
It says that the African American race takes up 13% of the American population, right? Mm-hmm. It says that defendants let me give credit. This is from the University of Michigan. They say that African Americans are only 13% of the American population. It says, but defendants who are wrongly convicted of crimes that were later on exonerated, about 47% of a list of exonerees, pretty much. So the list consists of 1,900 exonerees since 2016. 47% were black. These were people who did not do anything, but you own just about half of this list. So that tells me that us as black people, we can be framed, we can be questioned, we can be in the process of getting arrested for something we didn't do. We can be body slammed, we can get hit upside the head with a billy club, we can be cussed at, we can be spat on. We haven't even reached to the precinct yet. We get to the precinct, they could be roughly choking us or whatever. It's a lot of things that play into this. So yes, by fact, yes, we are. We are, most definitely. That's facts.
Wow.
Facts.
Wow, he's speaking true facts. Speaking facts. And that's crazy. Like, just thinking about some of the numbers that you point out, that's crazy. That is
13. No, but this is what gets me though. We're only 13%. Just 13% of the population, right? But we own almost half of the almost half, and this comes from the National Registry of Exonerations. This is an actual list. We consist of 47% of that. And I say we as a collective of African Americans, especially male. Male. Now, I'm going to put that out there. Male. But we're only 13% of the country. Come on now.
So you saying that we only the 13% of the country, but it seemed like we got the highest rate.
Yes. Yes.
So that kind of correlate to us being targeted in a way by police officers.
Yes.
Or
it don't always have to end in death.
Mm-hmm.
I can be held without my family for at least 4 days just by being questioned.
Right. And I'm not even gonna say police officer. I'm just saying the system.
No, but it starts with the police officers. Hollywood, don't no, don't give them no slap on the wrist. They've done that long enough.
I'm trying to give them a slap on the wrist. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
No, it starts with them.
It starts with the police officer. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm over here trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
No.
Oh man. Well, I feel like we do. I mean, us as African Americans do get targeted or are affected more by police brutality, and just from doing a little research, I have came across some names that I'm quite sure that everybody probably heard at least one or two people on this list. So let me just go on here and say, and it's from the past, I'm gonna say the past decade, and it's just a few names. I'm quite sure it's probably hundreds or I'm gonna say million people was affected by police brutality, but these are people that actually got killed from police brutality. It started off with Oscar Grant, Eric Gardner, Michael Brown, Laquan McDonald, Tamar Rice, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Jamar Clark, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Stephen Clark, Baham Jean, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Rashid Brooks. And those just a few names that I ran across that have been affected by police brutality to the most extreme.
Yep.
And if you go by or go and look at each case, some of these cases was people that was doing just a routine traffic stop.
No.
Tamar, I'm listening.
Don't say that.
Oh,
it comes from systematically being racist. No, racism. Scream it.
Racism.
It's racism.
It's
all of them.
And it's not like, I think Tamar Rice, I believe I'm saying his name right. He was 12 or 13 years old and he got shot by a police officer.
Come on now.
It's just different things like that just make you see that us African Americans do get targeted and also affected more by it. Affected more by police brutality, and also we are stereotyped the most.
Yes. Yeah.
When an officer approaches a black individual, it don't matter from male, a female, an older person, a kid. It don't matter who you are. Just from the color of our skin, we automatic is a threat to these certain individuals. And just from our skin tone, we get treated as criminals before even facts come out. We are already stereotyped as criminals. So meaning they going to use excessive force when they trying to detain us. They going to use excessive force when they doing routine doing traffic stops. They going to use excessive force when we could be the ones to call the police.
Yep.
We could be the ones to call the police, and they look at us as a threat. Now, come on now. Come on now.
You want to know the ironic part about this, though? This is nothing new, man. This is nothing new, Hollywood. This is our hit. Let me tell you history, right? Man. So when... Oh, and by the way, happy belated Juneteenth to all my people.
Oh, yeah.
Once we were freed, right? You know, the issuance of segregation came in. And with the issuance of segregation came the Jim Crow thing, right? Within, you know, certain period of time. Would you believe me if I told you a movie caused systematic racism? Look up the very first movie that ever came out. It was a racist movie. It was I don't want to call it The Birth of a Nation, cause I think that was a black movie about a revolt. I think. I could be wrong. But I have to go back and do my research on that movie. But in that movie, it was the issuance of what we know now as the KKK, right? In this movie, what happened is you had a white guy playing as a black guy, right? And pretty much what they did was paint this picture of a black guy who quote unquote raped a white woman. And in the movie, the man raped a white woman or got caught with a white woman, and then this mob came and lynched him, right? But what this did was set up pretty much a trap for us blacks to get hung, to get burned, to get killed, because it painted this picture as if black men are predators. This was 60, 70 years ago. Well, no, it wasn't 60, 70 years ago. I have to go back and do my time. But this is a while ago. It painted this picture as if we're the enemies. We're still going through that right now.
Right.
A cop really don't have to have. It seems like a cop don't even have to have a real reason on why he's stopping you or why he's doing anything to you. It's just more of, like Sandra Bland, for example. Rest in peace, Sandra Bland. It hurts me. She get pulled over for not using her left turn signal, but she ended up dead somehow from a turn signal. What? A traffic stop? If anything, if I get stopped at if you pull me over for a traffic violation, hand me my ticket, let me go about my business. But no, we go through the extreme, and it's just like that movie. We are painted as the perpetrator. We're painted as the evil guy, and from that movie, we're still living that time. You know,
yeah.
Nothing changed. Nothing changed.
And it's crazy about. I mean, it's crazy how you said change, and that brings us to our next point. Do you feel like a change will happen with police brutality and everything?
Who created that song? Sam Cooke? No. I don't see a change. I don't know if a change is gonna come today. I don't know. I promise you I don't, man. That's not because like I said, police brutality it can be a blind thing. Now, unless I'm a firm believer on this. If you don't know you're doing something bad, then you're going to continue doing which other people perceive as bad until you come up to knowledge. Now, a lot of these cops are doing these things unknowingly. So unless they are trained about what actual police brutality is, then maybe they'd be a little bit mindful of it. But I don't think they're going over that in their courses. I don't think they're, so no, I don't see it happening. And even then, even if they do go through it in their courses, what's going to stop a racist from being a racist? Nothing. So if I never liked you to begin with, guess what? I'm in a position of power. Oh yeah, you done. You count your days. That's it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you're right about that. You're right about that, because a person, you can't change a person if a person don't want to be changed.
No.
And also, I mean, I feel like it can change, and the only way that it would change if these police officers start speaking up on the police officers that's doing all this stuff going on. They see us talking about police brutality, protesting, doing all this other things that we need to do on our end to show that this is enough is enough. But until actual police officers start coming together and being like, okay, yeah, now this is really enough. I'm not gonna stick by my fellow associate or officer just because I work with them. I'm not gonna look the other way because, oh, he's my partner. Like, no, it's time for y'all to start speaking up. When you see stuff going on and stuff is not right, and you know in your heart that it's not right, it's time for these officers to speak up. It's time
Talk
for these
about
officers,
it, Hollywood. Okay.
It's time for these officers to go to the government, because we can only do so much, and the system is already jacked up, and we can only make it to the front door. But
That's
y'all
true.
already, we at the front door knocking, but y'all officers are in the building. So it's time for y'all to go ahead and come together. If you truly want change, y'all got to speak up too. And that starts from the police officer, then it go from the chief, and whatever. It's time for these individuals to start speaking up on their fellow officers, because I'm not go agree with somebody. Okay, I'm not gonna agree with my friend if he go ahead and rob a bank and be like, oh bro, what's the name? You know, if I feel like it's wrong, it's wrong.
That's true.
And it's time for these officers going to do the same thing. So that's the only way I feel like change will happen. And if that finally happen and these officers start speaking up and actually, you know what they need to do? Start taking these officers to jail. You know, do your job. Do your job.
Well, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, Hollywood, but can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You seen what happened to what's his name that just died? I'm sorry. What is his name? George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
You seen what just happened to him, right?
Right.
We all saw it. If the police officers was doing their job, they would have choked the police officer, the guy who was on George Floyd's neck, that Asian guy or wherever he was who was standing telling everybody to back up. He looked back and saw what that police officer doing. Mm-hmm. If he had any integrity, he'd have tackled that police officer off of George Floyd. But that shows me, and I'm not trying to be a pessimist or pessimistic, A change is not gonna come. I do not see it. It's not gonna happen. It's not. Until you change, it's just like you said. Until you change, I think it's until you change the head of the chief. Who is the chief? Because if the chief don't care, then surely the cops won't care. That's like my boss pretty much telling me, I don't care what y'all do, just get the stuff done. Then I'm not gonna follow no procedures. I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm just gonna do exactly what my boss tell me to do. Get done. And guess what? That's what happened. So until you change the chief or until you change the district attorney or whoever in that system, however that works, until you change that head person, you will never see a change. I don't see it.
You don't see it?
No.
Ceezar said, it ain't gonna happen, huh?
Until they change the people they need to change. But the cops are just employees. They're just employees. That's all they are.
Right. And I feel like, I mean, okay, let me try to look on it on their little point of view right quick. They probably feel like, hey, if I do speak up, I could potentially lose my job. Or if I do help, my fellow officers won't trust me anymore. Or, but when you go home at night and you see your wife, your kids, and do you ever realize, like, okay, what if somebody came and choked my son up? And I'm speaking like a white or black. What if somebody came and choked my son up, slammed him to the ground, put my knee on his neck? I mean, they put their knee on his neck, and he yelling for you and your wife. Or what if your wife get smacked or like something like getting manhandled? It's like we all have a heart. We are like, show some compassion, show some sympathy for us. That's why we getting tired of it, because they not showing no sympathy for us. They not, and it's just getting out of hands. And it's time for a change. But it's come to one of my final points. So, Ceezar, listen to this question. I'm okay. Listen to this. What is your biggest fear when it comes to police brutality as a Black African American?
All right, man. My biggest fear when it comes to my biggest fear when it comes to police brutality as an African American, man, that is